we have an empty pot here this morning, but not to worry. Before we leave, it's going to be nice and full. And welcome back to the Carleton Place Nursery in Carleton Place. And I'm joined once again by Dave Platters, who is the co-owner here of this fantastic nursery. And this is something I really like, because this is helping people who have apartments or condos who don't necessarily have a yard.
That's right. There's been a trend over the last 5 to 10 years of more and more popularity of container gardens, is what we call them. Plants in a pot.
Plants in a pot. And it's really simple and easy to do. You're kind of giving me the rundown a little bit. So where do we want to start with a pot this size?
With a pot, with really designing any container, you first have to assess your situation where you're planting it in terms of whether it's very sunny or very shady. Select appropriate plants like you would in your outdoor garden. And there's sort of a common approach to designing a container like this, where you begin by picking a plant which is in the category we call thrillers. And the thrillers are like your focus, your center point of most planters.
The high piece.
This would be a good example.
A thriller. And what kind of plant is that?
This is actually a canna.
Canna?
To tell you the honest truth, a canna will get probably too big for this container.
Okay.
But it'll make the point for the demonstration.
Right. So you're just going to plant that, and do you want to put that in the center then?
Normally, or sometimes it could be to the back if the planter is being viewed from one direction only.
So it just kind of
depends. Usually the thriller goes in the middle.
The thriller goes in the middle. And then you said we have a spiller and a filler?
Then you have a filler.
A filler,
so that will be something that will fill the body of the pot.
Okay. And these are these little guys?
In this case here, we've picked Calibrachoa, a tiny yellow flower.
This is a little yellow flower. And we just stick those in. I like how easy planting has become. I don't remember just being able to pop the plant in there. And how many of these would you put in here?
I'd say 4 of these.
4? So we kind of spread them out. And now those will grow.
So now you've got your thriller, your filler, and now we need a spiller.
A spiller, and that would be this guy over here.
This is sweet potato vine,
Sweet potato vine. And you guys have made this nice and easy for people to plant. Everything is kind of compact, and you just pop it out and pop it in.
That's right.
Is that part of the allure of planting? Making it easy for people?
That's the challenge. You know, gardening is sometimes made far more complicated than it really needs to be. And
now you're saying with indoor care, because you may not have the same as outdoor, you have to be really careful?
Well, the case with a container plant as opposed to your garden plant is that you have got a lot of plants in a small volume of soil.
Right.
The result being that the resources within the soil are going to be consumed a lot quicker in this environment.
Okay.
So water, nutrient are all going to be consumed a lot faster in a container than they would in your garden. That requires you to be paying closer attention to its care.
So meaning if it's outside in extreme heat, you need to water it and fertilize it maybe a bit more.
You should be, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for having us here today. And of course, you're going to be at the Carleton Place Home and Fashion Show this weekend. So if people have questions, they can stop by your booth and see you. You obviously have tons of knowledge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for having us here today.
Thanks for coming by.
You're welcome.